Hi, my name is Brianna West, and I read Runaway Slaves, Rebels on the Plantation by John Hope Franklin and Lauren Schweninger, published in 1999. I have a Kindle, I don't have the actual book. Um, this book is exactly what it says it is. It is all about slaves running away. It uses a lot of primary resources to put together some of the missing pieces that textbooks have. So, like article clippings, newspaper clippings, those types of things really helped build this book. This book is very research based. I read this book. I read this entire book cover to cover, every word on every page. I really liked the book. I was surprised because this is not my favorite kind of book. Like I said, it's very research based, and usually when it's so heavy with facts, it's not typically what I like to read. I am more of an autobiography person, even biographies. I really like journals. I like reading firsthand experiences, but not necessarily just reading fact upon fact, and not from a personal experience. However, the way this is written, I really enjoy it. One of the things I like is that each chapter has subchapters, so it makes it a little bit easier to read for me. I can't sit and read for a very long period of time, but I also feel like I have to get to a stopping point, so I have to get to the end of the chapter. Well, this way you could read three subchapters, and when you get to the end of the subchapter, you put it down, you go do something else, and you come back and read three more subchapters instead of, like I said, feeling like you have to read all 27 pages of one chapter. Um, I would say that to an extent it's hard to read. Like I said, they use a lot of primary sources, and those primary sources can be difficult to comprehend because in 1800, African Americans were not literate 90% of the time, probably more than 90% of the time. They were not literate. Um, and if they were, it wasn't to this, they didn't have the same education. So, um, for example, I just wanted to read one example. Um, there's no punctuation in this sentence. There's no commas, no periods, no um, apostrophes. But um, this is thar, thar, was a good many, manny, black ones, wons, from Rowan, aver, which is supposed to be over, here last night. Everything, there's no E after the V in every, is ready, there's no A. Thar, thar. They are, no E on the end, all a gaying, gaing. Anyway, so you can kind of see that something like that, it's a little bit more difficult to read. Um, Overall, I still like reading those, the primary sources. I just find them intriguing and fascinating that we are literally reading something. This one was in 1848. So we're literally reading a piece of history. So to me, it's fascinating, but it does take you a little bit longer to comprehend it because it's just not how we read or write anymore. Um, Another cool thing about this book is there are 7 appendices in this book. There are so many resources. The bibliography was either 7 or 10 pages long. They just There's so much information jam packed into this book that like I said, I definitely recommend it. Um, it took me a while to come up with a lesson plan because there's not a lot you can do with slavery that's appropriate for the classroom. That I felt like I wanted an activity that teaches, because one of the main things I didn't like in my social studies classes were the games may be fun, the trivia afterwards, but getting to the trivia was so boring. So I wanted a way to make the learning fun, not just the tests afterwards. So of course you still have to do readings, you still have to have lectures, but this was a fun way to kind of put in perspective what these slaves were going through when they were running away. I feel like children play games and they don't realize that they're getting frustrated, but they get frustrated. This is a short game, so they shouldn't get too frustrated, but they do get frustrated when they're not able to move forward. So this game, they start off on the plantation and they're in groups, and each group moves as one. So if one of them rolls something and they're supposed to take a step forward, the whole group takes a step forward. It's not just one of them. So they're in groups, they do that. They start at the plantation, they are trying to get to freedom. There's going to be a line at the front of the classroom, that's freedom. They roll 2 die, and each number that they roll, a combined total, is what they do. It corresponds to this list that I have. So 2 says take 2 steps forward. If they roll 3, it says quick, hide, stay very quiet. I hear someone coming. 1 peep and you have to go back to the plantation. You can't move this turn. Number 4 says take 4 steps forward. Number 5, one of the other slaves told on you. The master is hunting for you. You lost your advantage. Take 3 steps back. 6, you've got some help. Take 6 steps forward, but rest. Miss your next 2 turns. 7, uh-oh, you're caught. Back to the plantation. 8, it's a thunderstorm. Take 1 big step forward. You're still moving, but it's cold and wet. Number 9, swim through the river. It'll lose your scent. Take 5 steps forward. 10, you're tired and need to rest for the night. Miss your next turn. 11, you ran as fast as you could. You put some space between you and the plantation. Take 3 steps forward. 12, take a break to eat. Take 1 step back. So the whole goal, like I said, is to reach freedom, and I feel like this is a way that students at least have an understanding, because when they're so young, they don't understand. So this at least kind of puts it in perspective for them. They get frustrated because they're constantly having to take a step back. They're constantly having to go back to the baseline. It seems like getting to freedom is impossible. So I feel really good about this, and like I said, I feel like it's something they can all learn from. So like I said, I would recommend Runaway Slaves, Rebels on the Plantation if you ever have time to read it.